everyone, and welcome back to this podcast. This is Shelby.
And I am Bliss. And this week...
Okay, we should probably just be honest. We are kind of a mess right now as to what we're doing.
Yeah, so,
we don't have anything really...
planned out.
Like we should, because we've been having, like, not necessarily, kind of a rough... kind of a busy past week.
Yeah, I would say that, yeah.
You're more rough, I'm more busy.
Yep. That pretty much describes it, yeah. So, basically, we want to touch on, like, family and how it can be beneficial to talk to your family about the things that you're going through, especially, like, last week, if you have any secondhand self kind of stuff going on. We also want to talk about how pets can help with your mental health, and then we also kind of want to give a small update on, like, where we're at. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of basically what this podcast is going to be. This one's going to be a little bit more laid back than the rest of them. I think probably more like the first one was, where it's just more banter. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, you hear me? I'm British now. Banter.
Banter.
I watch too many British TV shows. Oh no. Hey, shout out Love Island. Anybody watch that?
Jesus Christ.
What?
Love Island?
Yeah, I love that show. You never seen that?
I've seen, like, one episode of it, and I just couldn't stand it. Because for me, it's more like Toddlers and Tiaras. Yeah. And I just, like, it pisses me off.
I think it's so entertaining because, hear me out, you know half the shit is staged anyway, but, like, sometimes these people really be getting pressed about the stuff that's been going on in the show.
TV show. Oh.
It's so entertaining. I can cut out your cuss words.
Yes.
I don't cut out mine, so I don't really care if you don't like my mouth. You can pick which butt cheek you want to kiss. Thank you. Yeah. On track. Where do we want to start? I'll let you kind of lead the way this time. Wherever you want to go.
I think we can just get the update out of the way.
Okay, if you want.
You want me to start?
Sure.
Alright, so I've actually been better.
That's good.
Yeah. So I left the other job. Liz already knows. Got a new one. Mm-hmm. And that's helped a lot. Mm-hmm. Because that job put on a lot of stress. Mm-hmm. Like, too much for me. For what I've been going through. Mm-hmm. So I had to leave. And I went back to my old one. Which is fine. And then I have been doing projects. I've been staying busy and focused. Mm-hmm. Because I told myself that I need to start actually doing things, not just being, like, around the house all the time. Mm-hmm. So I started doing that, and although my body is suffering, it's something you have to go through to hopefully get better.
Your body's only suffering because you fell yesterday.
Twice. But, you know, it's fine.
Shelby, this is not really fine when I tell you. I panicked. I'm not even kidding.
But yeah, I went on a hike yesterday about 3 hours away from Joplin, and I stopped in the state capitals. Fun fact. I didn't even know I was going to be passing through the state capital, so I stopped there.
I haven't been to the state capital since I was like 11.
I've never been there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's cool to see.
I know. I drove by the Capitol building and took a photo because I was like, been here. Okay.
Yeah.
Check. Done.
Yeah. Now it's off my list.
Yeah. But yeah, I went hiking and I ended up falling twice, which is bad for me because I've had surgery. But I feel fine. I just have a bruise across my back from landing on a branch. That's it. Bliss is looking at me like, that's it.
I'm very, like, naturally motherly, I guess, so when people I care about get hurt, I'm like, oh yeah, you say you're fine, but we'll see about that in a couple of days when the bruise sets in, like,
Yeah, we'd have to take a leave. I took one yesterday, and I took one this morning. Just to kind of help it.
It's inflamed, probably. Oh, yeah. I mean, you know,
yeah.
Just drink lots of water and be very careful. Stretch it.
I had a giant, like, hard bump on the back of my leg from where I landed on a rock, too. And I had, like, tons of blood vessels that popped. So, yeah.
But she's fine.
But right? I'm happy. It's fine. I go from one extreme to another. There's no even for me.
I can't. You're like, I fell, I'm, like, completely battered up. But, like, it's good, right? Like, I'm good to go. Peace out. Like, okay, are you sure?
The thing is, I was doing something that I like to do, and I was still having a good time. I just had a couple slips because it was raining, which I shouldn't have went out when it was raining anyways. But we didn't think we would be going up the mountain like we did when we did it. So that was bad judgment on our part.
I mean, if you weren't gonna go because it was raining, then you weren't going to go at all for, like, a couple months, because, you know, that's just how it is where we live. But still.
Yeah. But yeah, I have other things planned as well. I don't know why, but all of a sudden everyone's trying to make plans for the summer. I don't know why. Probably because everything's canceled, and so the people are trying to wedge in what they can.
Yeah, where they can.
Yeah. But, I don't know. It works for me, because I want to do things, so... It's been fine. I've been enjoying doing this podcast. I feel like it helps a lot.
It does.
And it gives me something to focus on other than just going to work.
Yes, because then, like, when I have it to edit, so I spend, like, a day doing that. Yeah. And then we spend a day, like, recording it and stuff. And that helps. Yeah, it gives you something to do, for sure.
For sure. But yeah, that's me. What about you, Bliss?
Well, so Bliss is going through a little bit of a rough time.
Why are you going British? Okay, we're back.
Okay. Well, I've been going through a little bit of a rough time. Like, I've been stuck in the house, and I want to go out and do things, but there's not a lot of options of things to do. And my husband's already back at work, and it just, my sleeping schedule's messed up, and just a whole bunch of random things. Anyway, I was ready to go back to work, and I got a call that I might go back to work, but the terms and conditions are, like, a little hazy, and so I'm not feeling great about that, because it was my saving grace to get out of the house, and then there's kind of some punchlines that come with it, you know, which I wasn't expecting, because I already was a little upset about some other things, so it's not always super great to have other crap added on, especially when it's your job, because that's really one of the only things that gets me regularly out of the house. And I want to make plans with people, but now I can't because I have to keep my whole life available for my job. So that's just not really adding to the mix at all. Yeah. It's insomnia induced by anxiety because I have nothing to release my anxiety because I'm not doing anything. And I want to start going back to the gym as, like, a way to exert that, but I'm so scared to go back with everything going on. I'm like, gyms are some of the worst places to go. People perspirate.
There's an outside gym you can do. Just take some disinfectant spray and spray it down before you use it.
Yeah. I need to do something.
Yeah.
I gotta get active.
Get into hiking.
Maybe. But I have
I promise I won't take you on a rainy day. Well, yeah, I usually go in the mornings, though, don't you? Don't go to work till, like, later in the day.
Well, the hours are changed. We're open 11 to 6 only now, so I'll be working 10 to 6 every day. Except Sundays, because we're open 12 to 5, so I'll be working 11 to 5.
Yeah. Well, I get up, like, at 7:30, and I go for, like, an hour, and then I come back.
Okay, so we could do it.
Yeah. Because that was one of my other goals, which I've been doing great with. I've been getting up around 7:30.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Because I used to be up until, like, 2 or 3 in the morning and don't wake up till noon. That's a problem.
When were you doing
that? During my job, my last one. Because
I schedule.
Yeah. I couldn't go to sleep when I got home. And so I just toss and turn, and then the next day I would wake up at noon and go back to work at 2. That's, like, hardcore depression, too.
Yeah, it is, and that's what my job was before COVID-19 stuff. I mean, it'll be nice if the hours are shortened, but it's not going to be great because they're only bringing back limited people, so it's just me and one other person taking care of everything. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, at least you got another job.
That's true. Which, you can get another job.
I can, it's just not a lot of things are hiring.
That's true.
Not for the pay or hours you need.
Right, I was just lucky enough to have a connection, so...
And that's
otherwise I probably would have gotten another one.
Like, Nick suggested for me to go back to that job, and I said, but she's not going to be able to give me full time. Like, I'll get the pay I want per hour, but she's not going to make me full time. No. So, therefore, it's not going to do us any good anyway.
Right.
But I don't want to work full time. Like, that's my goal. I'm trying to make enough per hour to where I can drop down to, like, 35, maybe 30. So I have a little bit more leeway to do, like, leisure activities, but I'm still regularly getting out of the house enough and making enough money that I feel like I'm contributing without feeling guilty and, like, you know, like a leech. Kind of, you know. I like to be independent, and I don't like when people have to help me. It really bothers me a lot, so... Even if it's my husband, it's a bad habit. Like, we're a unit, and, like, it's supposed to be us against the world, but, like, I'm very much, like, I don't want to be a burden to you, so, like, I'm trying so hard to, like, make my own kind of money.
Right.
Because I also like to spend money.
Oh, dude, same.
And
did I tell you how much I've spent in this past week?
No.
Ever since you got me, I blame Bliss. Actually,
No.
So after we recorded last week's episode, she took me out to eat sushi, and she goes, "Well, we can go shopping around the mall if you want." And then we stood there by the door debating on whether or not to do it for like 5 seconds, and then she started heading out the door to the mall. So we went to the mall, and then we went to JCPenney's, and I found the athletic section, and everything was on sale. And I got tons of crap, but it was only $100. It was like $108, so it was a great deal. Tell my mom about it. The next day we go back out. Guess how much I spend this time?
How much?
Another $125, which isn't bad because I even got even more, and that's including these Adidas shoes that you saw. Yeah. And so there's that.
That was not my fault. That was not my fault.
I would have not known.
No. You were shopping online at JCPenney before we went in there. Don't you come at me sideways about that.
No.
Yes. You were like, I almost paid full price for this online, so don't you try and do that to me.
No, online on the Adidas shop.
Oh,
not JCPenney.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got Adidas sweatpants.
Well, you would have heard they were going bankrupt anyway, and they were having a sale.
That's true.
You're smart.
I still blame you. You took me to sushi.
If that helps you sleep
at the mall.
Night, you know, that's fine. That's fine.
But it doesn't stop there. So then, I was like, my mom reminded me, because somehow I forgot, I needed to paint my room. And I had everything moved out, right?
Yeah.
So I had to go to Lowe's, and I bought another $80 worth of paint supplies. So that's basically another $100. So I got 280. No, it's like 200 and...
It's like 305 if you spent 125, 180.
Yeah. So there we are there. Then what else was it that I got? I got something else. I was like, holy shit, why did I do that? Oh, I found a new department store, and it's over there, I think, by your work. Okay. And they just opened, and...
What are they called?
I don't remember what it's called. But they have really cute stuff, and it's really cheap.
Like in the shopping center across the way, like attached to Bed Bath & Beyond?
No. Maybe it's not over there. It's over there by Crackle Barrel. I don't know why I thought your job was over there.
Oh, no, okay.
Yeah. So, I think at one point, something about men's something was over there. Anyways.
Oh, it was the Big and Tall store.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, people still call us like, you guys got Big and Tall? And we're like, no. And they're like, well, where's the Big and Tall store? And like, they closed.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Like,
yeah.
Anyway.
But it's over there, and you go in, and they don't have a lot right now because they just opened. They're brand new. But they said they're getting a lot more. Okay. I spent another, like, my mom put in a little bit, but in total it came to, like, $282 or something like that. I think.
That one, like, was a little painful.
I remember, no, I take that back. The $282 was for my blinds that I bought. It was like one something, I think, at the department store. It's like going down. Yeah, and it just keeps going.
Here's the thing, though. You have the extra money, and you've been quarantined, and, like, you know, I mean, you worked down hard for that money. Spend it a little bit, you know? Treat yourself, because you never do that.
Right, that's true, I don't.
You're a penny pincher.
And then yesterday I bought $50 worth of swimsuits, but...
From where? Shein?
Yep.
What's the shipping look like on it? Is it about normal, or is it delayed?
It's delayed a little bit. Processing is delayed like 2 to 4 days.
Okay.
But shipping I think is normal. I went ahead and bought the express shipping, which is like $12.90, because...
It does work.
Yeah. They were saying for no, like, free shipping, because I was still over 50, it would still be not until, like, June 29th that I get it. And I was like, my lake trip is the 19th through the 21st. So, express shipping guaranteed it before the 17th. And I was like, okay, I'll do that, and hopefully it comes out. I'll just keep track of it.
Yeah, I mean... I've ordered from Shein 2 or 3 times, and usually it delivers when it says it's going to.
Yeah.
Like, I've never had any issues, but I do know people who have had issues, so maybe I've just gotten lucky. But I know when I got the express shipping, it came within like a week or 2.
Yeah. Well, I've ordered it before, and I didn't expect it for a while, and it ended up coming really early.
But that was before COVID, so I don't know.
No, this was during COVID. I bought it right when COVID started happening.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, what the? But I took it back and, like, disinfected it and stuff before I brought it all inside. But I was like, I'm surprised it came this fast with, everything going on. It did, so. Yeah.
It's a little strange.
Anyways, off track.
I know. We gave her little updates. Let's see. Where are we at time-wise? Hey, we're already 15 minutes.
Sorry.
I do that all the time. It's okay. And then sometimes I have to go back and I'm like, hey, I don't really know what you said. Can you tell me? Let's see.
All right, we're back. Family, yes.
So it can be beneficial to talk to your family if you feel like you have family that you want to talk to, that you can talk to, you feel comfortable, you feel that they'll receive it well, or even if they don't receive it well at first, they'll come to terms. But, that's kind of up to you to make that judgment. It's based on your family and kind of how you feel, but, I mean, they're not going to know how you feel unless you tell them. So, like, you can't really expect them to change their behaviors or anything until you speak to them, basically.
I mean, that's the way it was with my mom. I had not told my mom about this podcast, and she found it, and she's like, I didn't know you were feeling this way. Surprised, I wasn't expecting that. I didn't know you felt this way, and blah, blah, blah. Why didn't you tell me? I feel like I don't know you, and stuff like that, which is completely understandable. But I've always been that person where I dealt things on my own, and I never knew how they would react, my parents. Still not positive how my dad would react to this kind of stuff. I was lucky enough that my mom and I were able to sit down and talk about it, and she seemed to understand, and she even acknowledged that she noticed I had anxieties growing up. But I think now, I was lucky enough to have a mom that didn't take it negatively. Like, she had some parts where she felt like it was bad on her, and I told her it wasn't. And she was able to understand, and we were able to understand, like, where I was coming from and where she was coming from. And so I was lucky on that part because nothing bad happened in the conversation. It was actually a good conversation.
Which is good.
Yeah, which doesn't happen to a lot of people. So I was lucky on that part. And so, like, with that, I want people to realize it's not always going to be like that. 9 times out of 10, I feel like it's going to be more like a parent's going to take it as something they did wrong, as in you're gonna blame them for what happened, because they're gonna feel like they were a failure in raising you, because sometimes they don't necessarily understand what mental health exactly is, because this is kind of a new thing that's come into light, because this was not as accepted as it is now. It's not fully accepted now, but it's starting to become more accepted, and we still need to continue on that path. But there's going to be generations that still don't fully understand it, and might not necessarily accept it, and that needs to be fixed. So if you do decide to go to a parent and say, hey, I have this really bad anxiety, I think I need to see someone to kind of figure it out, maybe something to help me, and they're like, well, what did I do wrong? Why can't you come to me and talk to me? And blah, blah, blah. Realize that it's not you, it's not them. It's something that they don't know a lot about, and so they're taking it as a personal failure. So it's important to be able to talk with them, don't raise your voice, and just kind of tell them how you're feeling, and the way, society may be looking at it now, and just be like, I just need, like, one visit, just to kind of see. And just kind of, and also, if you can, explain to them what it's like, of what you're feeling.
Yeah, because that's the only way they're really gonna get it, is if you're like, I feel this way and it's because of this, and then that's the only way to really put it in black and white terms for them, clear enough, Yeah, and there's some parents out there that are still not gonna take it well, and there might be a time after that your relationship is rocky, and they're gonna feel like
or you as a parent, if you're listening and you have a kid that comes up to you with this, feel like you don't know who they are, so you don't know how to act around them. But it's just important to if you need time, take time and do research. Do research on it if you're a parent that, doesn't quite understand it. But you have to be open to it because it is a problem. You might not heard it when, things when back in their day, when they were kids of our age, but it's starting to grow and become more of a problem. And I'm trying to think of something that can be comparable to it, but I can't think of anything off the bat. But yeah, the most important thing is to do research, because I know for a fact I didn't know a lot about like depression and stuff like that until I started studying it.
Me either,
because it was just not something you talked about.
They don't teach it in school or anything. Yeah.
And then like with my anxieties, I really didn't know it was anxiety until I started learning it freshman year of college. And I was like, oh, I feel that way. Yeah. Got it. All right.
Explains everything. Yeah. My whole life's been a lot.
I haven't been like actually diagnosed with it, but I have such bad symptoms of it that it just makes sense.
Same.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't want to go and get diagnosed because I've heard horror stories about all different types of anxiety medications. Yeah. And how, like, you just have to find one that works for you and it's trial and error and you gotta deal with the side effects and stuff. I don't have the time. Yeah. Like, I be working like 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week, I ain't got no time for that.
Yeah. No, I couldn't do it either. So I just, I found healthy ways to kind of help with it. I do avoid a lot, which is a problem, which I'm trying to fix, but it's not quite great at the moment. So a lot of things I do is, hike. Like, that takes a lot of stress and anxiety off of me. Alright, we're back. My microphone died, so I had to fix that. That was a whole thing. Yep. Anyways, but luckily I noticed it was dying, and I was able to catch it.
Thank goodness!
Woo! Alright, but yeah, I talked about hiking. This is a way to get rid of it. I haven't done it as much lately, but again, I've been really busy lately, and it's kind of distracted me, and I haven't had my anxieties. And it was funny, yesterday my mom was talking about going to work. She was like, I've had a week off, I don't want to go back to work, I'm kind of dreading it, because it's been kind of rough with work, especially with all this COVID stuff going on. But me, I was like, I'm fine, I'm good to go to work. I haven't said that in almost a year.
That you wanted to go to work?
Yeah, that I was okay with going back to work. I felt fine going back to work.
Wow. So
that I'm, like...
Feeling better?
Yeah, I'm feeling better, and I'm advancing, like, the way I want to. When I'm saying, I'm fine with going to work for the next 3 days. Like... Yeah. Before, I would have said, I wouldn't have said anything. I would have sat in my room, dreaded it, possibly cried, and been like, I don't want to go.
That's the difference between the jobs, though. Because, it has been nearly a year since you were at that job. Yeah. So that makes sense. Wow. I didn't think about it like that until you said something, but that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So, even though I don't want to go to work right now because we're doing the podcast, because I have to go to work, like, right after we're done with this. But, because, again, busy week, and I changed it on Bliss, like, 3 different times. Hey. But she's been a trooper. I'm flexible. If I'm not working, I'm good to go. And even if I am working, we'll figure it out, you know? I get off at 6 anyway. That'll be fine.
Yeah. You say, you can always come over to my house if you need to or something. So. My door's always open.
You're such a sweetie.
I know.
And you have the best dog ever.
We'll get to Riley here in a little bit. Bliss freaks out over my dog.
I want a dog so bad. I'm gonna say this every podcast till I get a dog. Well,
Nick, she wants a dog.
Nick told me last night, he goes, what you should do? And I said, what? And he goes, you should say it's a self-help dog, like an anxiety dog, and then people have to let us have the dog. And I said, they'll still make us pay, like, a deposit for the dog, though.
Like $350 at least,
Which is going to be kind of a pain in the butt. But if that's... He's like, but I'll pay that to have a dog. And I'm like,
Fair.
Yeah. I think he's more just worried about me being here alone with my anxiety and stuff. Like, he worries about me. So, which is... If I lived with me, I'd be worried about me too. I've had It's been a week of, like, my anxiety's been so bad, I've been having, like, outbursts. Mm-hmm. Where I would just get overly pissed off about nothing. Yell, and then cry, because I feel bad that I yelled. It's like a spike, and then a drop.
Drop, yeah.
Because the guilt sets in. And then and that's been happening a lot. And I usually don't do that. That usually only happen, like, a few times a year, just when something really traumatic or something is happening.
Yeah.
Which I guess it kind of is. Like, I've been trapped in the house for 2 months, and I want to go back to work, but I'm not going back to work on quite the terms that I had wanted to go back to work on. So it's kind of like a smack in the face, because it's kind of what I asked for, but not really. It's one of those be careful what you ask for things. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. It's been rough. I've been, yeah.
High and low.
Yeah.
I get that.
Bad.
I've been there a lot, so I understand.
It's been really bad. Like, Nick said this is the worst he's seen my mental health since we've been together.
But hey, if you ever need to get out of the house, just text me, and if I'm home, I'll be like, come over.
Okay.
Do something. Because I don't want you doing that, because that's not good.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, but I always, and Nick always tells me not to feel this way, but, like, I just feel like a burden, you know? Like, I hate, like, I don't think anybody else ever feels like a burden, but I always feel like that I am, and you know what I mean? And so then I internalize everything, but then in doing so, I explode sometimes, and it doesn't always come out in the ways that I want it to.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm trying to work on channeling it. Exercising is usually what works for me, which is why I do think I need to find something active to do.
Right.
Because it's where I expend that anxiety energy, so I am able to, like, you know, sleep at night.
Right.
Yeah.
Get more than 3 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
For sure. Alright. So, back to the family. You
Yes.
might have to, like, adjust this clip, because that's more of, like, our beginning. But, yeah. Where did I leave off at? We're talking about family.
You're talking about how you had to talk with your mom, how it can be beneficial, but not all families receive everything that way.
Right. And parents to take time to learn.
And understand their child. Know that they're not a failure as a parent.
Yeah. And your kid's not a failure either.
No.
Not at all. Like, it sounds bad, but it's becoming a normal.
Yeah.
If your kid has even just the minor anxieties and they're, you know, struggling with it, all it is that they need to learn of ways to cope with it. And sometimes both of you won't know the ways to cope. But that's when you both sit down and you, like, research it, ask a professional, and then they'll find ways to cope, and then things will be okay.
Yeah. And also, just as a parent, remembering to listen and not dismiss what your child is saying. Like, because I think sometimes some parents aren't willing to believe, like, that they were able to affect their child in that way, and so then they just try to pretend that that's not how it was.
Yeah.
And that's so detrimental to the way that your child feels. Like, it is, you know? Like, you're invalidating what they feel, so then they feel crazy for feeling that way, and then that brings in guilt, which brings in more anxiety, and just kind of worsens the mental health.
Right.
So, I mean, that's an example of not knowing and how it can have a negative effect. So, I mean, that's just one example of, like, to kind of push you to, like, understand, maybe. And I know that I mentioned that I said that I don't want to take medication, and Shelby agreed she doesn't either, but if that's something that you're wanting, if you think that's going to work for you, you have the time and the resources to, you know, try out those different medications. If you think that's going to work for you, I definitely say do it. Like, I'm not against that by any means, but, you know, it's just, it's not for everybody, so don't feel like you have to either.
Yeah. I think it's more just, like, there are healthy options out there, and, like, I'm not saying medication is not healthy, but I'm just saying, like, making it easier, try to find little activities or something that might help it, and then go to the medication. But if you have such a bad case, like, to where you're not able to get out of the house because you're just afraid to step one foot and get some bacteria on your foot and you step out the door, that's a severe case, and you obviously are going to need some more professional help, and, like, little activity are probably not going to help with it at all. But, like, for me, I just have really high, like, social anxiety and stuff like that, and I overthink things so much.
Yeah, that's my problem.
Yeah,
time.
Yeah, I overthink the littlest things. I overthink. That's easily fixable with daily activities and things to, you know, get your mind off of it. But if you have a severe case where the littlest thing bothers you and you have a panic attack, yeah, definitely, I'm saying skip what we do. Like, still do them because they will help, but it's going to take more and more professional help to be able to, like, get you where you're stable to be able to go out in society.
And I think that you would be able to tell that. Like, I mean, I think it's pretty apparent when your anxiety is hindering you. Because, I mean, I personally go through spouts where sometimes I'll only leave the house for work, and I won't leave otherwise because my anxiety is so bad. I always end up coming out of it, you know, it comes and goes. It just depends on what's going on in my life. If I have any kind of other stressors, I mean, my anxiety just is heightened, you know, it comes with it. So you mean it'll be an up and down process too. There'll be times where certain things help more than other times, and you kind of just gotta go with the flow with that. Like, sometimes meditation will help, and then sometimes journaling will help. It just kind of depends on the phase that you're in. I don't know if that makes sense, because it goes in phases. It's like it's an up and a down and an up and a down. I mean, it's a roller coaster. So I mean, adjusting what will work for you for that time is also like a good suggestion. Maybe tracking your patterns, too, so you know when you're about to get to a certain place where you need to kind of switch up how you do things. Like, maybe, like, journaling is a good way for, that I personally track how I've been feeling. Like, I'll be like, ooh, I felt like this week, and I still felt like that the next week, so XYZ wasn't working, I need to adapt. You know? And
it's going to be trial and error.
Yeah. Or you said you were thinking about, like, doing video clips every once in a while to check your progress. Like, there are so many different things you can do to kind of keep track and then adjust your ways of doing things and approaching it too.
For sure. But if you happen to have, like, a parent that you can't talk to, like, you're just like, it's not gonna work, you know it, seek help outside. You know, if a friend, another relative of some sort, even if it's over Facebook Messenger, because that relative is states away. Something. There's always someone out there. Heck, it could be a stranger, but you don't know. Just someone out there is going to be able to sit down and listen. Never think that you're alone. Because, like I said, mental health is becoming widely popular right now.
Especially because of COVID.
Yeah, because it is a thing. It is a thing that people suffer with. And, you know,
major PTSD is going to come from this.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. For sure. For a lot of people. I mean, it is already for me, even. Like, I am afraid to go to the gym. Like, you know, that's just because gyms are disgusting, but don't even get me.
Yeah. But I'm not, you know, going to keep that to myself for this. I'm not even going to go all the way into that. I'll just say I know a lot of things because of, I have a lot of people that work in the health field. And so I learn a lot about, like, COVID and, you know, typical flus anyways. But I'm not going to make a certain statement because that will just put it back on me from someone. I know it. If I said it and certain people listen to it, they might go, whatever. Then why is that pandemic?
I'm not following, but we can talk about it later.
I mean, you can always cut it out.
Vague, so.
Yeah, you can always cut it out if you wanted to. But basically, the COVID, it's just another flu. There's really nothing to it.
I mean,
it's been over traumatized. So, yeah. But yeah.
Well, I know. And, like, it's just because there are a lot of people who their immune systems are down and they're super susceptible, and, like, I get it.
Yeah. But, like, my grandma has a compromised immune system. But every year there's the flu, and the COVID's going to come back with the flu every year. So you just have to be smart and wash your hands like you're supposed to and keep your distance from people. I mean, we're not supposed to be up face-to-face with strangers anyways.
Yeah, it's not really natural.
No. So it's like...
But it's human nature to hoard, or not hoard.
Yeah. I mean, not for me.
Group together, kind of. Like, I don't... Oof, ow. I'm not sure why that is. But like with LA, for example, people just love to, like, group together in places, which I don't understand.
I don't like that. Like, I get severe anxiety at Walmart because there's, like, 2 people around me. I'm like, ugh, get away. Like, ugh, get away from me.
And I mean, I was like that before. I'm very much always been a person who, like, respect my bubble kind of thing. But I'm also a hugger. So, like, my bubble's okay to be interrupted when I want to give you a hug. By the right people, though. Yeah. Yes. When I'm expecting it. Yeah. If you come up on me randomly...
The hands are flying.
People at work will come up randomly and they'll walk past me and they fucking put their hand on my shoulder or something just to be like, a silent way of saying I'm gonna walk past you kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't do that shit, man. Like, you don't come up to me and touch me like that. Like, one time, I think my AM did it. He just, like, grazed against my shoulders to let me know he's gonna walk past me. And I fucking, like, went like this at him. He's like, whoa, whoa. And I was like, dude, you can't sneak up on me. I might have to take you to the parking lot, man. Like, you gotta be careful. But,
that's funny.
Anyway. Alright, we're off track. Do we want to talk about... Well, I guess... Huh? Yeah, I was gonna say, pets is what's left, right? It's the last thing?
Yeah, I think so. Which we're at 36 minutes.
So that's, yeah.
Yeah, we're
finish
fine.
it up with that.
Do you want to start or you want me to start?
I can start it if you want.
Okay.
So we also want to talk about how pets can be beneficial and how, like, they're kind of a part of the family, so if maybe you don't have somebody to talk to, like, a pet can kind of be a companion, like, in the household. I mean, definitely find somebody else to talk to outside of the household, but when you're at home, a pet can be a good option for helping.
Yeah.
Shelby has some specific examples of why that is.
Do I?
Yeah.
Okay, so I grew up around pets my whole life. My family owns a farm, you know, I'm not saying that my best friend's a cow, because it's not. I hate them.
Cow don't move.
Yeah. But I grew up around cows, dogs my whole life, and then cats off and on. But now I have a cat, and I'm not saying there's good cats out there, and you can connect with them easily. But I just happen to get the one that's the spawn of Satan, so there's no connection there. He just roams the house, and I just leave him be. Bliss, knows because she visited, and he had attitude.
Yeah, a little bit, a teeny bit.
He's not the greatest.
It's an understatement.
Yeah,
little tude's an understatement.
So, but like, if you find honestly, any animal. A bird, a lizard,
any animal can help. Yeah,
any animal can help. Something about their presence just relaxes you. I don't know what it is. I haven't done research on it.
Very comforting, yeah.
They are very comforting.
Well, and you said that when you get sad, Riley licks your tears.
Yes. So I found that out because I was crying over. I don't even remember what.
Wasn't it your job or something?
Maybe, I don't know. Because I was just stressed out, and it finally became overwhelming, and I sat down after talking to my mom on the phone, and I was just bawling, and Riley jumped up on my lap and started licking the tears off my cheeks. And at first I was like, gross. Get that tongue away from me. Yeah. But then I understood what he was doing, and I was like, wow. And then I stopped crying, because he kind of became a distraction, and then I don't know, something about him being right there next to me, it was a comforting thing, and it just relaxed me, and I wasn't as stressed as I was the second ago. So animals are so capable of sensing things. I'm going to flat out say it, dogs are the best ones at sensing things, but there are tons of animals out there that are really good at it too. So, I've seen people have connections with a parrot. I've seen them connection with a snake, a cat, a cow, a horse, anything.
Dogs are just what's common.
Yeah, dogs are the most common, and I grew up around, shut up. I grew up around dogs, mostly. I've had one. When we used to live in a duplex when I was younger, I had a dog named Shadow, and they called him Shadow because he was pure black and he followed me around like Shadow. And I don't know if I really had a deep connection with him because I was so young, but he was there. And then we had Jake, and he was 17 when he finally passed away.
Wow, that dog was a long time.
Yeah, he was an old boy, but I don't think I ever had he was definitely my dog, but we never had a deep connection as Samson I had with Sam and the one I have with Riley. I definitely have the most connection with Riley. I don't know why, but it might be because I'm able to actually hold him on my lap when I'm on a couch or something. But Samson
was massive dog.
Samson was a big boy.
Yeah.
He was a Newfoundland lab mix, and so if you stood him up, he stood up at 6 foot, it seemed like. So he was a big dog, but he was the sweetest as can be. When I was sad, he would always come over and put his head down between your legs where you're sitting.
Aww.
Yeah, so he knew too. He was able to feel emotions as well.
Yeah.
But something about animals is just perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, if you struggle with high anxieties, you don't necessarily have to get a service dog or depression or anything like that. Because I know they have, like, support animals. Although, if you have a very severe case, it's probably a good idea to get one. But if you just have minor things like I do that hinders your day sometimes, just get a pet. But definitely, here's the thing. Not always are they going to connect to you right off the bat. Because I've had dogs temporarily that, they knew I was their caregiver, but there was no connection there.
Yeah, I know what you mean by that, yeah.
Like, okay, you feed me, you play with me, but that's it. I'm temporary, it's not a thing. So, if you really, you'll know when there's a connection. Like, you'll know for sure. Now, I'm not saying, like, it's trial and error. It can be, but it's not always that way. And, I got lucky in most of my dogs I was able to have a connection with. But there were, at one point we got this black lab, Alex, that's who it was. And we didn't keep him long at all. I guess he snipped at me once, and so they had to get rid of him. But the family never really had a big connection to him. So it really wasn't like, oh no, poor dog. Like, Alex was a good dog, but I think he just wasn't ready, and you don't necessarily have to get him as a puppy, but if you do get them as an adult and you have that connection with
harder
them,
to bond.
It's not necessarily harder to bond, but you definitely have to give them that lesson of, I'm in charge. Here's some lessons.
Asserting your dominance kind of thing. Yeah.
And you have to teach them, the ways of your household and stuff like that. Because that also builds respect between you two.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And so then you learn more. If you get a dog and you just let it do its own thing, like in the backyard, you're not talking with it, you're not
just there.
It's just there. You're not going to continue to build that bond that you supposedly felt when you first saw them. So... yeah, it's a good thing to have, but it's also, and they not only teach you responsibility, but they teach you about connection.
Yes, yeah.
So, but it's something you have to work with and work for. Do you have any experience?
I just know when I was going through a hard time a couple of years ago before Nick and I moved out on our own, we were living with my uncle, and he had a dog, and the dog always came and hung out with me, like, when I was feeling my worst. And it was always just nice to have, like, a companion. Having an animal around is definitely something that helped me, and that's part of the reason why I want a dog so bad. Also just because I love animals, but, I just know it'll be helpful. I don't necessarily have anything quite like you do. I mean, I grew up with a cat before we got a dog. We only got a dog, like, when I was a teenager, so it's a little different for me, but...
yeah.
And it wasn't my dog, it was my grandma's dog. So it was her kind of animal to help support her after my grandpa passed away, mostly. I mean, we got her before that, but she and my grandma became really close after my grandpa passed, so...
yeah. I'll do it. Yeah.
I think that's...
yeah, that's it for today.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's kind of like...
it's kind of random, but I feel like this is a better way to get to know us and our personalities, because we're not so much describing a specific topic, we're more talking about ourselves.
Yeah, and our personal
experiences, which it seems to be what you guys like, because more people watched the introduction where we talked more about our personal experiences than you have the other ones, so maybe that's what you want to see. People, we need suggestions! I don't know what you want to listen to unless you tell me!
Yeah. I don't think we have anything planned for next week yet.
We don't. We may throw in a wild card and just do, like, a conspiracy research or find we want to talk about or something. It kind of just depends.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. The whole birds work for the bourgeoisie's been in my head again. I don't know why. Just because it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. It won't be next week's episode, but it's just that it's always, like, rendering in my head.
Yeah.
Because someone came up to me one day and they were like, have you ever seen a baby pigeon? And I was like, no. Government.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah. Or like, oh, what's another one? Like, how the concept of time is man-made, or, like, living in a simulation, and, like, there's all things
we
that
can do
I like
living
to
in
entertain.
Simulation. Yeah. I don't know a lot about it. I know you do, but I can easily do research.
Yeah, it's just, it's fascinating. It's more like, it's saying our lives are kind of like a Sims game, and, like, it's a whole thing. Like, it's, I'm not gonna say that that's actually what's happening, but just, like, somebody thought of that, and I'm like, holy shit, how did you get there?
Right.
First of all. Second of all, that's not impossible, because I don't want to be naive to think that, like, things aren't possible, because that's something that everybody's always like, oh, you conspiracy theorist, or blah, 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 and I'm like, I'm not saying that's what I believe, I'm not saying that's set in stone, I'm not saying that's even fact, I'm just saying that's something I looked into, and I thought it was an interesting take on reality.
Right.
It was something interesting to entertain, because it could be a possibility. Because life is fucking just a wild card.
It is.
So,
yeah.
But anyway.
I don't know why, but I just thought about, like, what if we did a podcast on flat earthers?
I have my own opinions. If you're a flat earther, we're not going to be friends. That's all I'm going to say on that. So, Shelby, you're not a flat earther.
Huh?
You're not a flat earther.
No.
Thank God. Okay, I was going to say, I know you're smart, so.
No. I'm not a flat earther, but I find humor, and it's intriguing to listen to people who think the earth is flat.
Yeah, I'm like, have you not fucking seen the pictures we got from satellites in space?
Yeah.
Where have you been?
And how the earth rises on one side, goes around, and goes on the other, and how China's days are nights. So, it's
like,
just...
did you take astronomy in high school? Like, I'm confused.
Yeah. But it would be funny if I found one and did an interview with them just to listen to see what they... Like, it's just interesting to me with people who have a different thought process than I do, to listen to them, to be like, how did you get to this point? Same.
It's fascinating, because I feel like...
It really scares me when they make a good point. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I need to rethink some things, but...
Yeah. It gets you thinking, at least.
It does, yeah. It keeps your brain working. But, yeah. I don't know. There's just ideas out there.
Yeah. If you guys have any ideas of anything you want us to talk about next week, definitely suggest it. We're very open. I mean, we will talk about nearly anything. So... Yeah. I mean,
Heck, if we wanted to do a specific kind of disorder, like schizophrenia or something, I could easily talk about that for a whole podcast.
That's true.
Because I have experience with it. Not personally, but... Well, not personally with me. Family-wise, I have some experience.
Yeah.
Because I believe they have it.
I don't have anything personal, just an experience with a customer at a job once.
Oh, nice.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Long story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about that. Alright. Well, I think that's it for today. We will see you next week.
Yep.
Thanks.
Bye.